My peeps in the locker room. What's up, peeps? You know what it is. It's time now for we get our time together this Tuesday, every Tuesday, right here with the playmaker in the locker room to talk football, talk basketball, talk all sports. But more importantly, we talk life here, bro. We talk life. We use sports as that jump off, but life is the drive that we have on it all. And there's so much sports going on around right now. So some great basketball. I saw it last night too. Again, y'all saw OKC and Denver go at it last night. Shea Gill just big time bucket again. And watching all of that. And everybody, I love that battle. OKC in Denver because there is that new element called Wemby. Dude, I'm just telling everybody, Wemby. Wemby's something different, y'all. Wemby's something different. And I love watching this dude. I love because you usually see a guy that big, that tall, and he's not tough. He's not gritty. He doesn't love it as much. None of that is true with Wimby. This dude is tough. This dude gritty. This dude love it. I saw him crying the other day. I'm so impressed with him. Everything right now is all about free agency and football, and that's my first love. But Wimby is sneaking right on up in there with what he's doing. I'm gonna let you guys tell me because it is about you. Much love, my brother. You know what I mean? Dre Day 202, the God. Is that how I would say that? At Dre Day 202, the God. You know, it's a small G. I'm just saying what's up back to you, buddy. You know what I mean? Josh Garcia 2361. What's up, buddy? You know, hey Double Star. I love seeing you here, 88. That Double Star 88. You gotta tell me one time where that comes from. Are you trying to say Double Star 88 that you love Dallas Cowboys twice as much as everybody else? And you love 88 twice as much as everybody else. So I'll have to challenge you on all of that. But you'll let me know one day where you get that Double Star 88 from. We'll get into that. But you guys tell me something. What do you want to talk about? Because there's so much going on. So much going on in free agency. You know, so much going on with movement. Malik Willis comes to Miami. I'm in Miami right now because I got to go shoot the Netflix show. He's gritty tough. He's gritty tough. He is, isn't he? He really is, man. Percy Miller talking about Wemby, man. Wemby's different, dog. Wemby's different. And we can get to basketball. And we can start with this free agency and everything that's going on in football. You know what I'm saying? Either way. Hey, Coley fam, me too, man. Love your lives. We look forward to it all the time as a family. Also, love the new recap you Miami video. Insane production. I know I love that, man. I can't wait. Dude. I cannot wait for the season to come around again. I know it's feel like we just ended the season. And I'm sitting here trying to get nothing but the season to come around again. Somebody asked me today, I was like, man, what do you think? Miami gonna be right this year, right? What we gonna do in Miami? I said, we're going undefeated. They said to me, what? You think Malik Willis is going? He said, Joke, I wasn't talking about no damn Dolphins. I'm talking about the Hurricanes. He was like, oh, my. He said, I was talking about the Dolphins. I said, oh, okay. Well, we got to wait to see what happens with that. Because what they've done was say, all right, we're getting rid of Tua. We're bringing in the new regime. And the whole new regime all came from Green Bay. You got the GM, you got the head coach who's a defensive coordinator, and now you have the quarterback who was in Green Bay. So they brought over a quarterback that they feel safe with and gave him a couple years, gave him some very good money. I call that the Sam Darnold. Tua got another shot in Atlanta. I call that the Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? Because we just watched Sam Darnold, who went on to win a Super Bowl. So now everybody starts getting new hypes on these refurbished quarterbacks. Can we do it with a refurbished quarterback? So yeah, that got Tua in Atlanta on a minimum contract because the Dolphins owe him another $50 million, so he can go over there on a minimum contract and try to get some playing time because you know there's an opportunity in Atlanta. Now I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say this. Tua's a left-handed. The other guy, Penix up there, left-handed. It's going to be very, very, very interesting to watch because if they put in and if they're running that same system that Mike McDaniels, the Kyle Shanahan's, the Kubiaks, the guys in Green Bay, and now in Arizona, the brothers, the LaFleurs, everybody's running that same system. That's a system that Tua is very well versed in. And now you give a Tua the different kind of talent that he's going to have in Atlanta with knowledge of this system. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he has good accuracy. And now you have a Drake London as opposed to a fast Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So you got that space taking receiver in Drake London and Tua, Drake, Kyle Pitts, and that boy that plays in backup named B. John Robinson. Dude, stop messing around. Stop messing around. This may be, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. If Tua stay healthy, keep his mind right, you know what I mean. You know, go through the concussions. That could be a big, big, big get. Yeah, yes, you're right. You're right. That Terradome, you're right. LaFleur and Stefanski. Stefanski gonna run the same offense. You're right. Same thing they're running in Cleveland. He's running in Atlanta. So yeah, that's exactly right. It's that same offense. And that's when I said, remember, I told you guys that before. When Stefanski when he went over, I said, oh my God, you mean to tell me now you're going to have B. John Robinson in the Christian McCaffrey role? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, dog. Yo, trust me. This is different. This is different. And you can say what you want. Stefanski's a very good coach. Cleveland's a hard place. Stefanski's a very good coach. And he put that system in, that offensive system in with that talent and the pieces they got in there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now remember, Atlanta's in a dome. So, Tua going to be comfortable at home. At home. And Atlanta got to make sure everything comes through. Let me think through that, as a matter of fact. Think about that. Oh, and you know what? That's a great idea, Terry. Don't let me think. Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa. Those are all, when I'm thinking about it, and New Orleans in a dome. Dude, dude, Carolina. Carolina gets some time, but not that bad. Dude, so let me tell you my mind. I'm looking at the division. I'm looking at where is Tua playing. In Miami, he had good weather. But New England, New York, all those other teams in the AFC East had other things going on. You know what I mean? Had bad weather situations, and Tua didn't play well in bad weather situations. I see Tua now, 8 games at home, another game in the dome when you're playing Atlanta, when you're playing New Orleans. So yeah, Yeah, I'm like, man, this thing here can work well for Atlanta and for Tua in that NFC South. Tampa's going to be good weather. So yeah, this could be well. I like that move. I like that move. The Malik Willis move after obviously what these guys have seen, what these guys have seen in Green Bay warrants this man an opportunity to say, hey, we trust you. We'll start with you and let's see what you can do. And they got him in for a good number. There's just so much going on, man. I'm telling you, the numbers to a free agency is crazy. You know what I mean? If you ask me, the numbers getting crazy. I'm seeing guys get deals where they're getting paid 16, 17, 18, 20 million dollars a year. That's a who? Like what? And out of all of them, out of all the deals that are, yeah, I gotta get to my boy from the coast, Alex Pierce. Congratulations, my brother. Congratulations on getting what was that deal? 4 years, about $120 million. About $120 million, and everybody, there were a lot of people talking about getting signing Alex Pierce, get him coach, but the coach get him back, and they were happy with him. I was shocked that the coach also, gave him a 4 year. What was 4 years? About 115 million, something. So you can round it to 120. But I was shocked that they got rid of Michael Pittman Jr. And that was one thing that shocked me. The other thing that shocked me that I must admit is they offered Daniel Jones, who had a great start to the season last year. They offered him a 3 year deal, $100 million. So that's what, 33 a year. He came back and said, "No, we want 50 million a year." So a 3 year deal at 150. I don't know where that's going to go, but I thought that was interesting. You know, uh, Daniel Jones in wanting, I don't have a problem with him wanting 50. I just, the coach, would you jump out like that and say, here's 50 when we got 8 good games on you and you're coming back off another leg injury? You've already had one and now you got another, and, those kinds of things. But I don't care what anybody say. With Daniel Jones, the coach looked like they were ready to make some noise and scare some people. They really did. Look like they were ready to make some noise and scare some people and win and do it where they were winning. I mean, they looked like they were about to affect that some playoff runs, if Daniel Jones did not get hurt. Now, you got a Daniel Jones, you got to come back. You got to get over, knee, the Achilles, all the issues you had to get back to being able to play at the level you were playing. There is no better place to do it than Indy because they believe in you and they trust you. I just think, boy, here again, here again, don't let this opportunity slip away by trying to grab everything. I don't mind you doing business, Daniel Jones. Do all the business you can do and get all the money you can get. But just remember, this is not like you got a, a, a million great games under your belt. And everywhere you've gone, you had great success. It's just not the truth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, what has he done? VJ, he played some good games this year. And it's kind of like this for me too, guys. You know, it's the comparative analysis thing. Like when you see, oh, hold on, are those my clothes? Come in. These are my clothes, right? That's what What's up, man? My clothes finally got. You know what I mean? Put them in the closet right now, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Hold on, let me find some money for this man, y'all. Hey, listen here, brother. I appreciate that, brother. You got me. Come on, man. Here. Here's some money. Let me take some money, man. Here's some man. Here. I appreciate you doing that.
I
What's up?
appreciate you. I'll catch you in a little bit. All right.
Much love, brother. Appreciate it. That's why I like doing this stuff right here. You get everything like real life stuff, right? You know. So yeah, that was that's my outfit I got to wear on the other show tonight. You know what I'm saying? So they had to put it together, uh, get it cleaned up, get it right. Yeah, I see that right there. Can you imagine how much Mike Irvin's contract would get in today's football? I imagine it all the time, and then I have to say, stop it, Michael. Let's focus on now. Don't worry about it. I would think, man. Like I said, these are the things that Drew Pearson said to me. You know what I mean? Promise you, when I signed the deal, Drew said, "Man, Mike, man, you know how much that is?" And we were doing deals 20, 25 million back then for the whole contract. That was unheard of money. Now these dudes getting 20, 25 million a year. You see what I mean? You would do a 3-year, $25 million deal back then, or now they're getting 25, which just blows my mind. But I remember my mom always used to say, just keep a living, baby. Keep a living. And the guys now, if I don't know how it can be, because it blows my mind to think we can get anywhere else. But can you imagine where this thing going? Are we going to have receivers making 88 million a year? Because that's my favorite number. Yeah, okay, tear it down, put it down. Playmaker be looking for 44 mil, 2 years, so it's 88 mil. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like how you play with that. 44 a year, 2-year deal for 88 million. Yeah, yeah, something like that. But the number's going to get there anyway. The number's going to get it. Look at what they're talking about Lamar Jackson right now. Lamar Jackson, they're saying Lamar's about to get something average 62, 63, almost 65 million a year. So yeah, this is where it's going. I don't know where this thing turns, and I don't know if we're at $300 million salary cap. $300 million. Yeah, I think when I was playing, the salary cap was 30 million. That's 10 times right now where that thing at. I just can't imagine that cap going another 10x north to, you know, not 300 million, but 3 billion. You see what I'm saying? Like you go 10x on three, you went 10x on the 30 to get to 300. I can't even imagine another 10x and what salaries would be. Just stop. It would be crazy. I just don't know where it ends and how far how it keeps growing and keeps going. And 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 I imagine the NFL is saying, well, we don't want it to end. We want this to be the world sport. And that's what you start bringing in international money. Now you're going to start seeing those caps and all of that. If you get some way to incorporate, boy, that'd be oof. Like when you hear some of those football players be making, the Messi and those guys, and what they make, they make 70, 80, and $90 million a year and 100 million. It's going to be crazy. But that's where it is. That's our love for football. And we can't get enough of it. And those streaming services coming in, man, it's been great. It's been great. And I'm happy for everybody. Tombstone X2Z, Cowboy fan for 45 years. Wife went where? Wife went where? Go give me that. Wife went where? Wife went to, oh man, get the rest of that. Cowboy fan for 45 years. Let me just tell you, I appreciate you being a Cowboy fan for 45 years. At least the first 15, you got some Super Bowls in. The last 30, yeah, yeah, not so much. But we go get you there. We go get there. I like what the Cowboys are doing right now, and even a little disappointed that the Kobe Dean thing didn't pan out. I've always liked that kid. And I know the Cowboys were trying to get him because we got Christian Parker and they were supposed to bring him over. And I saw the other day where when he signed with the Raiders, like what would make you go sign with the Raiders over the Cowboys unless you wanted to keep that thing clean with your people in Philadelphia. And honestly, when he did that, I was mad. You know what I mean? But I was also glad that I was wanted him on the team that badly because his actions told me why I wanted him on the team. He's still that means he's real. The hate he brought up with the Dallas Cowboys being over there, the Philadelphia Eagles, he couldn't get over it to come and play again with his old defensive coordinator. So he just said, I'm going to the Raiders. I don't care what anybody say. There's no way in hell you can sit back and see yourself and say the Raiders are about to have a better season than the Dallas Cowboys. Or, and you just didn't want to go and play against your old team. So, you know, yeah. So for me, I got upset that we lost them. Dallas lost them. But I felt like, okay, Michael, that's what you saw. I saw that kind of commitment. So that's what I like about him. That's what makes him a great locker room dude. That's why you want him in that locker room, and he'll be a great addition to the Raiders. But I just think it'd be interesting to see what the Raiders do. I know they got to go now and get the quarterback, but they got some nice young pieces. But I don't know if that's going to equate into a lot of winning in the next year or so, to be totally honest with you. But it's been so much going on and everything. The one thing I want to point to and talk about, the one deal I want to point to and talk about, because I was telling my guys on It Is What It Is. I remember when he got hurt and 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 I said to Cam and Mace and all of these guys, I said, that's a great career. We have seen him catch his last pass for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's my boy Mike Evans. Mike Evans, who after 11 straight years of 1,000 yards and with one franchise, even though many different quarterbacks with that franchise, this past year was his first year not getting 1,000 yards. And they're not getting 1,000 yards. He turns around after that and signs with the San Francisco 49ers. I said this a few years ago when they were talking about Mike Evans, and I will say it again right now. That hurts. Mike Evans was one of the guys that deserves to play for one team and retire with one team. I didn't want to see Mike Evans leave Tampa. But that being said, I love Mike Evans. I think he's a great dude. I'm going to tell you, I can't wait to see what he does in Tampa. I can't wait to see what he does in San Francisco. I did want to see him leave Tampa, but all Mike days of being in Tampa, he has never had a Kyle Shanahan. Mike Evans had put up 11 straight 1,000 yard seasons with not having anyone where I would consider anywhere near a Kyle Shanahan. And in this situation, it's a perfect marriage because they needed him so much. Not just his ability to catch a pass, they needed his maturity, they needed his professionalism, they need his leadership, and they need it in the wide receiver room. Look at all the things that have gone on in that wide receiver room. Brandon Ayuk just walked away from a real bag and said, no problem. I'm not even going to fight it. No problem. You know, the Debo Samuel's not there anymore. And why is it? What's happening here? You know, so now last year, Saul got hurt. And now you got a Mike Evans coming in. That kind of a pedigree, but that kind of maturity. That's big. That's big. You give a Kyle Shanahan that kind of ability, you're giving the room that kind of maturity. And I think they need that big more than anything. What is Mike Evans' career receiving yards? Man, I don't even know how many. Hey, Nate, get that for me. Nathan, will get that for me. Mike Evans' career receiving yards after 11 straight 1,000 yard seasons and falling short just last year. But think about the number of quarterbacks he's gone through. I remember seeing Mike Evans playing with Johnny Money, Johnny Manziel, you know, Johnny Money. And I said back then, "Hmm, this is different. It's different. Everybody was going crazy about Johnny Manziel. I was saying, Johnny Manziel moving around, running around, but he throwing that ball up. That big dude, they're bringing it down. And that's what Mike Evans gives you. Mike Evans will give you that I will bring this ball down no matter what. And he has done that over his career. That's why he's amassed 13,052 yards career wise over that career. You got 11 1,000 yard seasons right there off the top. At an NFL record. And then last year was the only one. I'm expecting him to get back to that 1,000 yard mark this year and sing a friend. You know what I mean? And he's making what about 20 a year? You know, for what that is. So on the other end, I think that's a big time. That's just a big time great deal for San Francisco. That's a big time great deal for San Francisco. I was shocked and surprised that Tampa let him out. I'm not shocked. I said this was last year. I was more hurt for Mike. You know, because I'm not gonna lie. I look for like, dude. I'm happy I played for one team. I'm happy I played for one team. You know what I mean? And I wanted to see it. I want to see some. I want to see other people do that. I talk about it with Ray Lewis. We're like, man, you know, there's something to say. I only played for one team, you know, in the whole year, my whole career. And yeah, Mike Evans, he's one of only 10 players in league history to surpass both 13,000 receiving yards and 100 receiving touchdowns. Boy, that's insane. And that's pretty good right there when you think about who did he do this with? He only had Tom for a couple of years. So who did he do it with? Do you even know? What quarterback comes to your mind when you think of Mike Evans? Think about that. You know, this is where we're getting now. This is interesting. I'm thinking about it now. Like, you know, there was a time whenever a receiver got in the spot or in the place, they always had a quarterback with them. You know, I was just talking to some people, Sterling Sharp, Brett Favre. You know, you could go back to those, and now I'm like, who really was Mike Evans that you can say, man, you put up that kind of career with who? You know, it's a group of quarterbacks. It's not just that one dog that you have. You think of me, Troy Aikman. You got to think of Troy Aikman. When I think of Mike Evans, there's a group of people that I would think about. Yeah, Baker's doing it now with him. Baker was doing it last year with him, but before that, it was Tom Brady. Before that, it was Jameis Winston. You know what I mean? But not that one dude that you said, oh man, they've been rocking for quite a while. He has had just such a number of quarterbacks, and he's made it work with all of them. The Blaine Gabberts, the Ryan Fitzpatricks, the Mike Lennons, all of them. He's continuously come up with that 1,000 yards. And honestly, Jameis, Jameis one thing. Jameis top pick, throwing the ball all over the field. Tom Brady is who he is. Baker Mayfield and all of others, Blaine Gabbert, the Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Mike Glennon, the Josh McCown, all of these guys, none of them would stop Mike Evans from reaching that 1,000-yard mark. That that that's that different kind of receiver. I told you guys about when I'm watching, right? When I'm at the Hall of Fame room and I'm sitting back, I'm looking around, and I said, "Oh man, there's Jerry Rice and Joe Montana, or Jerry Rice and Steve Young, and okay, there's if I see if when I saw Sterling get in, I said, oh Sterling, Brett Favre been in here. You could see the quarterbacks that are in that room. Now Tom Brady's going to be there, but he only had a few years with Tom Brady. I don't know if any of his other quarterbacks will ever see that room that I see every year in August. So my mind says, wow, if your quarterback will never see this room, that means I'm seeing a man that's different. And that reminds Andre Johnson was the first guy I noticed. Oh my God. I see Isaac Bruce. I see Kurt Warner. I see Andre Johnson. I'm like, what is he doing in here? How did he get in here? The people that were throwing him the ball, if they came to the city where the Hall of Fame is, they won't even let them in. The whole city, let alone the Hall of Fame. You're not going to go to Georgia. You can't even get in Canton, Ohio because you're so far away from the Hall of Fame. That's that's a different kind of dude. And Mike Evans is that different kind of dude. So congrats, bro. Congrats on having another opportunity and going to a team that I promise you, they're gonna find a way to use Mike Evans, and it will be very, very profitable on both sides for Mike Evans and the San Francisco 49ers. Trust me on that. Andre Johnson was the truth, Terry Dome. You ain't that boy. Andre Johnson was the truth, boy. I told people about that all the time. Tim Brown was the same guy, too. You're right. You're right. Mm, Rich Gannon. Dog. You know what? And that's my dog. Tim's my dog. Tim's one of them, too. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Steve Jones. That's pretty good, bro. You're right. Who else could that has to be it? They just don't come like that. And Tim Brown different too now. So think about this. Tim Brown can still make moves and make moments without the quarterback because he was such a great returner. Tim Brown returned punts all the time, man, and scored touchdowns. So that puts you there also. You're catching passes, but you're also special teams. You're special on special teams. You know what I mean? But Andrew Johnson just did it catching passes. That's special. But Tim Brown is in that. He's in that league too. So I give it. What do you mean do the right thing? Is this Michael Irvin? Who else is it? There's only one me. What does that mean? Is this really Mike Irvin? Do the right thing. Say, come on, man. I'm standing. That's the whole idea of doing it live. So you can know it's really me. It's me. It's me. It's all me. You know what I mean? It's all me. And that's what I love. Hey, what is it? Did Jones give you a little hope only to take it away? We should have had a tier one linebacker day one. Yeah, yeah. But they tried. So I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? They tried. I know they wanted to go get people, and sometimes people didn't want to come here. That's part of free agency. You know, but they're out there trying, and I like what they're putting together, and they're being more, I think, aggressive than they have been in the past. And you have to be, especially on that defense, because you saw what that defense was last year. And you bring in Christian Parker, you got to give him a chance to succeed. You got to give them a chance to succeed, and so yeah, I like what they're doing. I don't think that they're messing around. Oh, that's what he's talking about? He thinks I'm AI. Is that what it is? Because that's what Steve Jones said. Ain't no AI here. Yeah, people don't do a live AI. It's impossible, right? Is it? You know what? It may not be because I see now the things you can put together. I was watching the other day on some TikTok, they were showing where you could do those dance moves. The same person be five people. You know, you doing the dance move, and then you take those moves, you sit somebody next to you, and 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 you put them in you doing the same moves, and now it's an old lady doing it next to you. You the same person doing, now you done made yourself an old man, and now you're doing the same moves, and you done made yourself a little kid, a boy, and then you done made yourself a little girl, and they all doing the same move. It's phenomenal. You can do all of that stuff now with AI, but this, I don't know about lives. You know what I mean? You can't copy the playmaker. That's why it's the, not a. You can copy a playmaker. That's but not the. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's just one of us. If that sounds right, one of us. And I say one of us, because each of us have at least two of us in all of us. So I'm not gonna say it's just one me. It's one of us. All that's in here, like it's just one of y'all over there, but y'all got more than just one person in all of y'all. So all that works out like that. You know what I'm saying? It is, yeah, it is crazy. You know, just now, Tyreek Woolen, Seahawks signs a 1 year, $15 million deal to the Eagles. Tyreek Woolen, Seahawks, signs a 1 year, $15 million to the Eagles. Wow. That's another number too. Them DBs. I was seeing somewhere where highest paid DB in the league. I forget. Look that up. It was, it was corner, the highest paid corner in the league, and he was a small dude. I saw it somewhere. I forget the size, but even that number is moving. Yeah, it's Trent McDuffie. Yeah, Nathan, I love you, boy. You know what I mean? Man, you covering my any possible CTE. You know, it just covered it. That it was Trent McDuffie. 31 per a year. 31 per a year at cornerback. Mm. I remember Dion signed, his whole deal was 30 million. When we got him from San Francisco, Dion Sanders' whole deal was 30, 35 million because we did the commercial, right? And it was both. Do you want to play offense or defense? Both. I was in that commercial. Do you want to, how much is it going to take? 15, 20 million? Both. You see what I mean? That's how they played the commercial, which was cool. Now Trent Duffy get the 30 in one a year. Deion Sanders got that over the contract. That's the number. See what I'm saying? That's insane, man. That's so great. That is so great. Yeah, I love that. I love how the game has grown and just taken off in that direction. That guys can make money like this. but they also gotta take care of the game. Don't just make this, take care of the game. Go and play hard. Like I'm watching what goes on in basketball right now. Where everybody's complaining about how many games they're playing. Nobody's complaining about how much money they make. They don't want to get back into that money. They just want to play less games. So you got to make sure that you continue to grow this great game. You know what I mean? Now, Romeo Dobbs signs with the Patriots a 4-year, $68 million contract. And I love when agents do this. And it's my boy Drew and them, and Robert and all those guys. But Romeo Dobbs, you get a max value of the contract at 80 million. So obviously they went in looking for 20 million a year for Dobbs and the team, the Patriots. It's the Patriots, first of all. The Patriots said, well, we get you there, but you got to perform some incentives. That's why the deal will come out saying it's 4 year, $68 million contract carrying a max value of 80 million. That means if you hit some what they call easily earned incentives, they'll give you some easily earned incentives. And easily earned incentives is okay, if you say you rushed for 2 touchdowns last year, they can't come in and say, well, rush for 1 touchdown and we can pay you $1 million because that's just skirting the cap. But you can, if you rush for two last year and two the year before that, you come out and say, hey, rush for 3 touchdowns this year, we'll give you $1 million. You get what I'm saying? They call those easily earned incentives because they know the track record of what you've done before, and they're giving you an opportunity to say, "Hey, we right there. You do one more, you get that money." You see, so things like that, and then they'll put carrying a max value of 80 million. But I can't wait to see how that plays out. You know, they were talking about going to get guys like, I mean, you were going to get AJ Brown. I mean, I like Romeo Dobbs. I like him. And you think about it maybe from the mental standpoint of having such a young quarterback in Drake May, do you worry about giving him a AJ Brown? And do you say, maybe we step down just a little bit and give him somebody that he can maintain mental prowess over? AJ is going to come in and do some controlling himself. And I know he loves Vrabel, and Vrabel loves him, and Vrabel's just the best coach in the world, one of the best guys in the world. But there's a lot there now. There could be a lot of pressure put down on a guy like Drake May, especially coming off the kind of Super Bowl he had. If you bring in AJ Brown and he is not in the right place to help that young man develop, I'm not saying you still don't go get AJ Brown, but right now you got Romeo Dobbs and Romeo Dobbs is just I won't call it a poor man, AJ Brown, because $80 million max value. Them poor about that. Them real numbers right there. But he still, even though I'm talking about what he is shoulders up and not messing with what Drake May is shoulders up. When I look shoulders down, Romeo Dobbs and AJ Brown are worlds apart. Kind of like US and Iran. Worlds apart. I'm not talking about worlds apart, talent wise, but distance wise with us and Iran is what I'm saying. Dude, listen, I want to talk two things before I go. Travis Kelce confirms he is not retiring, that he is coming back to play with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I was happy for that because I think he signed a 1 year deal, a 1 year, $12 million deal with the Chiefs. And I was worried about it because I don't want to see Travis Kelce anywhere else either. I don't want to see him playing anywhere else. I'm already hurt to see Mike Evans leave, and I didn't want to see Travis Kelsey leaving. I've told you guys a number of times that he's just my favorite player in the whole National Football League. I love him. I love him. So I was happy he got his deal, and I'm glad. I'm happy he's staying with the Chiefs. You know, I also was happy for my new brother, Jalen Phillips. 4 years on the edge for the Panthers. And I thought this was a great pickup for the Panthers. 4 years at 120. Man, that's amazing. I'm just dude. This dude is a great dude too, man. So I'm again on the sideline, but he goes and he gets good numbers at 4 years, 120 to go make a difference in Carolina. Imagine what Carolina do, getting a Devin Lloyd and a Jalen Phillips to help that defense after after they got into the playoffs last year. I had Bryce Young on the other show, on the Netflix show, and I just like the kid. I don't call him a kid because he's a young man, but I just like the young man, the way he carries himself. And I think Carolina is going to be able to make some moves here. That's going to be an interesting division now with Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans. New Orleans made some strides last year. And that's going to be an interesting division to see what happens. The one thing that we got to holler at before I walk out of here and go shoot this other show, guys, is how the hell y'all let Kenneth Walker get to the Chiefs? When you look at the Chiefs, this is the Super Bowl MVP. He gets a 3-year, $43 million deal. Mm. That is Super Bowl MVP. ETN to Saints get a 4-year, $52 million deal. And I guess he's going to go and do what Alvin Kamara used to do, and ETN is a good little player, but Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. Do you understand? The Chiefs didn't have many big explosive plays in the run game. Kenneth Walker is an explosive play in the run game. Now, Seattle let him go because remember he was spending time with Charbonnet and they liked Charbonnet. And I guess they figured, hey, we were already pulling back on Kenneth Walker till Charbonnet got hurt, and then we had to push forward, and he went and got the MVP. But from their perspective, they were already going and dealing with and going to go with Charbonnet. So they stuck with that and said, okay, we got to let Kenneth Walker walk. And he walked out to the Chiefs. Great pickup for the Chiefs. Great pickup for the Chiefs. Now you got that explosive runner. He's a hard runner, an explosive runner. And then you have a possibility, maybe 3, 4 games into the season, if to put a Tyreek Hill back on that offense. Dude, dude, that's why Travis Kelsey said, excuse me, excuse me, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring one more year. And I'll take the 12 million. I believe his value is more than that, but I'll take the 12 because I can see what we're doing here. You got now Kenneth Walker. You got a possibility, and I'm sure he's been talking to him to go and get Tyreek Hill. Yeah, you already got the man at quarterback and Patrick Mahomes. That gives you a chance no matter what. No matter what. Super Bowl MVP goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. It is amazing how we have dismiss the play of running backs. It's amazing. A year ago, that you know your boy Saquon has really lift that thing back up, but at running back position, it's just a little tough. Let me see. We've been knowing Ken Walker was this shit since Madden 2023. Someone who knows. That's all right there. Dude, Kenny Walker is a Tyreek deal. Is that a typo you writing in there, man? Or you trying to mess with Tyreek? Tyreek Hill, Tyreek deal. What are you trying to say there? Michael looked like he was the best wide receiver the Dallas Cowboys ever had. I appreciate that, D, huh? Uh, you're the best wide receiver. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I certainly wasn't the most. I certainly am not the most gifted. I'd say this again: the most gifted wide receiver the Cowboys I think have ever had is C.D. Lamb, talent wise, physical skill set, talent wise. Now, what you produce from that talent is something different. But when you talk about physical skill set, yeah, I'm gonna give that to C.D. Lamb for right now. What's up, Terry? What about T.O.? T.O. was a yeah. T.O. was a gifted receiver too. T.O. was a talented. T.O. was very talented. Would I say more physically talented than the C.D. Lamb? He has more physical, a bigger physical makeup. T.O. is bigger and fast. But CD's ability to maneuver the middle of the football field, to play in that role um, where it's best buddy to the quarterback, short passing game, but still have the ability to go deep on you, still have an ability to adjust his body and make incredible plays. And I honestly believe he has better hands. CeeDee Lamb does. So yeah, I know people will start gropping and grouping about that because he had a few drops last year. But I'm taking CD Lamb right now, no doubt, because I can use him inside and outside. And he came in the league doing that. When I was doing his draft, because I was working the draft back then, I remember reading the numbers inside and outside. And that kind of receiver in this league is hard to find. I believe Pickens can get there, but I can't give it to him off one season. You got to show me, you got to show me an ability to be consistent in that ability and making sure you produce more than just that one season. Then I'll start moving you up the ranks. You know what I mean? How did you make the Cowboys so good? Maybe they just need another you. Yeah, honestly, every team needs, I don't want to say need a mean, but needs some guy that is about the team and knowing how, not just to find people that play with great skill, but knowing how to make people come together and play with that collective will. Would you take T.O. or Mike Evans? That's a hell of a question, and if when I give you the answer, because I don't want to make any slight on T.O., but Mike Evans has been such a consummate professional, just always been there and always made plays and never gave anybody any trouble. So yeah, that's a hard call. I think there's very few receivers that have ever been as physically gifted as T.O. I'm talking about as physically gifted as T.O. T.O., I got was a young man when he came in, and I was playing basketball against him, and I just got so much respect for his physical capabilities. I mean, he's phenomenal talent. So yeah, there's very few people that have that kind of capability of a TO, physical skill set. But in this league, it's not just about you. It's got to be about all 53. So you plus 52. And when we start counting those things, that's where TO starts slipping. When you just start talking about size, running ability, how fast he is, ability to catch, TO at the top of the mark on all those marks all the time. He's that kind of talent. Very few people can beat him. But Mike Evans, Mike Evans is one of the greats. And he's a true first ballot Hall of Famer. T.O. was too. T.O. should have been a true first ballot Hall of Famer. So, yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's so funny, man. It's so nice to hang and talk ball. Hey, I love talking ball, too. And hey, love how Javonte Williams set the tone. Me too. Me too. I love Javonte Williams. You say what you want. I was just talking about him today, too, man, because I was trying to find his people. Because I want to talk to him. I want to bring him on. I want to give him some love. I want to talk to him about, he ran hard for us last year and his goals about running this year, what he's planning on doing, guys. I just can't wait to talk to him, guys. Okay, I better get out of here. I'm still talking to y'all. I got to get dressed and get down there and be ready in another 40 minutes, and I'm already late. So I got to get out of here, guys. I'm taking Jerry Rice in his prime over anybody, and me too. Me too. I'm taking. And before I'll tell you this too. I was just telling somebody the other day. If you tell me to put my three top receivers together, I'm putting Jerry Rice on one side, Mike Irvin on the other. I'm putting Andre Reed in the middle. Jerry Rice, Mike Irvin, Andre Reed. Y'all come up with three receivers that can beat that. I don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying. All right, locker room. I got to get out of here. Hey, Lee, I appreciate you telling me stay blessed. You stay blessed too. All of you guys, stay blessed. I appreciate you showing up and chatting with me. You know, I say this all the time, guys. I'm a true blue football player. That's just what I am. I'm just a true blue football player. And without the game, I would be worried about my own well-being. And now that I don't play the game without you and us talking about the game, I would be worried about my own well-being. That's how important you are to me. So I appreciate you guys taking the time. I appreciate we having this moment. And hey, someone who knows love you guys too. Jason Witten or Travis Kelsey. That's another good one. That's another good one right there. Hey, man, stop, man. Irvin Moss Rice. It's a good setup, but who's going in the slot? You know, we're gonna put Jerry in the slot, and that'll be tough to have Jerry in the slot. Now, Tim Brown, I'll take that. Now, hey, that'll be my close second. That'll be my close back. Hey, your boy right here got Tim Brown, Isaac, Bruce, T.O. That's a great group right there. I like that group because Isaac and T.O. outside, dude, if I ain't got Andre Reed in the slot, I'm going to take Tim Brown in the slot. That's a different beast right there. Tim Brown was another brother that could play that slot and do it well. See, now you're going to get me into a whole nother conversation. I just, and I'm going to miss being where I got to be here. And, well, I'm already be late anyway because I'm just enjoying speaking with you guys. I appreciate it. I want you guys to know how much you matter. Please continue to show up to help me. You just showing up to help me. I need you because especially in the off season, I'm a football player. I need to be talking ball. And I love talking ball with you guys more than anything. I appreciate you joining. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'll see you next Tuesday. We shall do this again. God bless. See you next Tuesday, my good people.